Those of you who know us and me know that our focus always begins with understanding shoppers and their shopping life. We just published this new study, How America Shops study, called Buying Happiness. So the question of how do I test and understand and evaluate happiness? Well, that's what we went off to do after our work around Magic Box. And what was especially interesting about that was we began to ground this in what was going on economically in people's lives. And so the good news in all this was that shoppers tell us today they are feeling more secure in their financial world. So that's encouraging. And more security means they're more willing to spend. And you'll see that in some of this when 4 out of 10 shoppers across the country, national sample, ages, ethnicity, gender, everybody, said to us that they actually are feeling much more financially secure today than they did 2 years ago. And that number is up 8 points, you can see on the far left bar. And that improvement has actually come particularly in households with lower incomes. So under 100,000, and particularly in households with incomes under 50,000. But you also look at that and say, but a third of the population with incomes under 50,000 a year, only a third feel financially secure, even though that's improved. And as you listen to Neil talk a little bit later, you will understand how, for that community, building happiness and enabling them to buy happiness has a very specific feel and flavor and texture to it. So good news, things are improving. Challenging news, lots of people are still not so secure. Within that context, when we ask people about what their spending priorities are in this world that we idealized yesterday, financial security is their top spending priority. Now, we may think our competition are the guys who are at the other end of the aisle or the other store that's down the street. But we have a whole new competitive environment out there, a whole new competitive set. And you can see that reflected here. The top 2 spending priorities American shoppers told us about was paying off my debt and putting money into savings. That has to ground everything we do today as brands, as retailers, as service providers, because when we ask people to spend $5 or $10 or $15 on whatever that is, they're actually doing an equation in their head that says, is it worth it, or should I put that money into paying off some debt, putting some money in savings? It's a very different competitive environment for us because all the other things that people are also doing are not necessarily consuming the way they used to consume. There's been a lot of conversation we've all had, I think, certainly I've had in the last day or so, and we've had in our work, about this transition from buying stuff to buying experiences. And as people have come out of the recession, as we still talk about it with this recession mindset, not just lower income shoppers, all shoppers, their priorities of spending have changed. And that's what's really important for all of us to understand today. And that is, in fact, the caveat to growth if we're a consumer packaged goods company or we're a retailer who sells packaged goods or fresh or any of those categories, soft goods, home goods, to people every day. The caveat is not that the economy is getting better, that's great news, but that people have different kinds of spending priorities. And so if they're looking for happiness, is the happiness taking the family out to Applebee's once in a blue moon because they haven't been able to do that for years? Or is the happiness coming to my store to buy something one of us sell? It's a very different mindset. In fact, shoppers have what we call a new trinity of happiness, and it's grounded in these 3 pillars. One is about this notion of enjoyment, and enjoyment framed in, help me make my life better for my family. Help me make them healthier. Help the world be a better place. The second is about make it easy. Help me undo the crazy stress, the life that I've created for myself. Help me do that. And thirdly, help me be responsible. Help me make sure that I'm not going to get back into debt again. And they are really the pillars for defining how we all deliver happiness today. You know, we asked shoppers then, you know, how do retailers deliver happiness and who delivers happiness? And so we asked them actually to tell us what are the retailers they feel good shopping today. And when we were on our retail safari, we asked people to raise their hands and tell us. I'm going to ask one quick question. Who do you think was the top-rated feel-good retailer today? Some of you who are on the safari know the answer. Do not answer. Well, number one, Amazon. Number two, a regular, I wouldn't call them regular, grocery store, Publix. Number three, Victoria's Secret. Number four, Costco. And number five, Sephora. Think about that, right? Enjoyment, responsibility, easy. And then lots of other interesting people. I love the mix between Aldi and Ulta. But the most of the retailers that we deal with every day, ambivalence, yeah, we like them, but they're good, they're fine, they're all right, but do I really feel good shopping them? And so as we begin to think what happiness is and how to deliver that, that's what we need to think about today.